Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. You'll get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And when I'm not asking Bruce, hey, how big was Batista's? Well, you know. One of the things I like to do is help people save money. And if you're watching this video right now and you're in a 30-year loan, man, you're overpaying your single biggest bill and you may not even realize it. I want you to do a little experiment for me. Take your calculator out, multiply your monthly house payment by 360 payments. That's how many payments there are on a 30-year loan. That big scary number, that's your total of payments. You're looking at that number? You know you can do better. Keep more of your own money right now and go to savewithconrad.com. Or maybe you've got credit card debt. Man, it's not a matter of if I can save you money with that. Your average interest rate on a credit card is more than 20%. And by the way, all the interest you pay on those credit cards, it's not tax deductible. Whereas the mortgage interest, well, that is tax deductible. So if you owe this debt, it's up to you how to pay it back. Doesn't it make sense to get the cheapest rate possible and the greatest tax deduction possible? Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. Even scores in the 500s can be approved, and it's no cost out of pocket. But maybe best of all, we're licensed in more than 40 states. We can help more families than ever before. But how much can we save you? Find out right now for free with a quick quote from savewithconrad.com.
WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm okay. How you doing? I'm really very excited about AEW getting ready to go to New York City. As this drops, we'll be in New York City tonight for the Arthur Ashe Dynamite and Rampage Grand Slam. So I'm excited about that. I think it's a new market for us, even though we were in New Jersey. So it's great. Things are great. Thanks for asking. How you doing?
Better than I deserve, and I am indeed excited. I can't believe you guys are actually doing Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson on free TV. This feels like this is your Goldberg Hogan.
Yeah.
Announced just a few days ahead of time, not on pay-per-view, and instead it's on free TV. But I ain't mad at it because I'll be tuned in tonight, baby.
It should be great on many levels. I've had a chance to spend some time with Bryan Danielson, as you know, and man, what a brilliant guy as far as the business is concerned.
And I sent you a while back a couple of his matches, and one of the first times you came over, I made you mad. This is way back when you and I first met. I made you sit down and watch an old match with him and AJ Styles from Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
I think Bryan Danielson's probably on my Mount Rushmore of favorite wrestlers to watch just once the bell rings.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. I've never been like, I love a good Bryan Danielson promo, and he's become a strong promo. But I just think, golly, it feels like when everybody else is playing checkers, he's playing chess in the ring. It's unbelievable.
I love the fact that he has a very strong, quote unquote, independent wrestling background.
Yeah.
I think it gives independent guys and girls something to strive for. You can be a big star on the independent circuit and you can still make it big.
Main event TV. 2 WrestleManias.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Even when he made his appearance in Chicago after we went off the air, I don't know if this ever aired on social media or not, but he talked about the guys and the girls in the back and the people who have busted their ass on the independent circuit. I was very unfamiliar with independent wrestling, as you know.
Yeah.
The only thing I knew about independent wrestling was, well, there's this was in my mind, a bunch of shyster promoters out there that try to take your money. And I'm sure that still happens, but I didn't realize how much of it was going on in the country during the time that I had missed wrestling. And then when I come back, I realized, man, they're all over the place. Everybody's got independent wrestling, right?
Yeah, there's a ton of promotions out there. And I don't know if you saw, but as you and I are recording this just last night, our great close personal friend, Mr. Ron Funches, made his independent wrestling debut He had a match, Tony.
Mm.
How about that?
I didn't see that, but boy, I do need to see it.
Oh man, it was something else.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it, but he did a move that you would not expect, and he called it the Funch Wrap Supreme. How great is that?
Ron Funch is one of the true great men in the world. Not only is he our friend and he's very funny, but he is genuinely a good person.
Yes, he is.
And there are so many of us who look up to Ron, and I'm talking about myself. And gosh, my daughter Laurie loves him.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably Laurie's favorite comedian, right?
Yeah, and she got to meet him in person at All Out, so that was a big deal for her.
Absolutely,
that was as big a deal for her as going to the matches for my daughter, who just kind of getting indoctrinated into wrestling since she's kind of worked for us behind the scenes, and she really has become she knows wrestling now more than she ever did. But meeting Ron Funches to her was a big freaking deal. So Ron's a good man. Good friend. Got to meet him at our first Starcast, I guess.
That's the first time you met him, I think.
Right. And just good for him. I hope he doesn't take many crazy bumps to get hurt.
Oh no, he ain't gonna do that. Come on.
Yeah.
So hey, you talked about your daughter's favorite part.
Yeah.
Of the weekend was meeting Ron Funches. What was her least favorite part? Top Guy weekend.
Least favorite part of Top Guy weekend? Maybe seeing her dad drunk.
Oh, really?
During the day. Yeah.
Tell me more.
Well, you were there. They kept Paul Bromwell kept giving me mules during the day, and
like Dave Silva kind of mules, or like Jim Ross kind of mules?
Jim Ross kind of mules.
Okay.
And so David Crockett and I kept signing autographs, kept drinking them, and
before you know it,
I was drunk, and
it was great.
Yeah, and my daughter said, "Dad, you had too much to drink," and I really felt bad because I don't like drinking in front of my kids. I don't. I won't drink with my sons. Mickey Mantle was, as we know, an alcoholic, and he died of liver failure and had to have a liver transplant. And Mickey and his sons would go out and drink a lot after Mickey retired. And I could never do that. I mean, I can have a social drink, but I can't go out and party and get drunk or with my kids. And so for my daughter to see me drunk was pretty bad.
Awesome
to me.
Well, it was awesome to see, as a spectator.
Yeah, I know. Especially when I got up there one time and stumbled. And then Arn Anderson says, "Problem over there?" I went, "Shut the fuck up."
Hey, so I wanted to tell you, I'm kind of plugged in the collector world. You've heard about that, right?
Yeah, boy. You've been featured on A&E and all that great stuff.
So something popped up that I thought you might be interested in.
Okay.
Ring worn Roddy Piper boot.
One boot?
Thank you for clarifying. One boot.
One boot.
One boot.
How much?
Let me read the description.
Okay.
Ring worn Roddy Piper, WWF, WWE, WCW, LJN Wrestling, left boot. Again, left boot only. Last time. Right boot is not included. Authentication from family estate is obviously included as a guaranteed provenance. Of course, guaranteed is misspelled. Lots of capital letters.
Yikes.
Various photos here, including pictures of him in the ring with Mr. T, Jimmy Snuka, Hulk Hogan, Paul Orndorff. I mean, it's a pretty badass boot, but it is a single boot.
Yeah.
One, not two, not a pair. Left boot only. And of course, the photos show you the right boot over and over. But it's left boot only.
Yeah, it's a gimmick.
Guess how much?
$25,000.
Tony, you know how ridiculous that sounds? $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear the part where I said it was just one boot?
Yes.
And you still think it's $25,000?
Yes.
Well, it's incorrect. You gonna take
Okay.
another guess?
$15,000.
Did you hear that it's Rowdy Roddy Piper? What are you talking about? 15? It's $50,000.
It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. And you know what? You know what gave it away? It's a gimmick.
What?
Misspelled words.
Can you imagine spending now, in fairness, when I first saw this to now, he has lowered his price from 50,000 to 40,000, but go check it out on eBay if you want. But yeah, 40,000 is now the ask, which, you know, hey guys, he's giving you 10,000 off.
That's great.
For a boot.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, you got something laying around that you think we could turn a profit on?
Probably, but I don't want to sell it.
What do you think? What do you think you got that we could get some cash for? Maybe a 6 title?
I got some old shoes that I wore in the ring.
Some ring
worn shoes.
Some ring worn
shoes.
Some ring worn Tony Schiavone shoes that'll get you ring right here on
I got some ring belts, kind of hold your pants up with.
Oh,
that I just bought a couple of new belts. I bought 2 new belts recently, and the reason I bought these 2 new belts was I was talking to Lois about my belts, and because Matt was with me in, I think Matt said this. Somebody said this to me. Oh no, it was JR said this to me. I wore a belt to go into the ring to do an interview, and JR after the show said, "Is that the only belt you got?" And I went, "No." He said, "Oh, I just wondered." And I grabbed the belt, looked at it, and thought, I've had this belt for like 20 years.
The same belt?
The same belt. It's the only one I wear. So it's about time I change it.
Wait, so you really did just have one belt?
No, I have a couple of belts, but I have one belt that I wear all the time.
You have a lucky belt. A favorite belt.
It's not lucky. It's not favorite. I'm just
hang on.
I'm just lazy. Okay. I'm just lazy. Hang
on. Did you wear that belt when you first started recording WHW?
No.
Oh, so that wasn't in the last 20 years?
No. You wondered if I wore it when I recorded it or had
when WHW was created, were you wearing that belt for public appearances?
Yes.
When you signed with AEW and you met with Tony Khan, were you wearing that belt?
Not at the time, no.
The first,
I don't wear belts that
Tony,
much.
I'm trying to build value so we can sell this motherfucker on eBay for.
Well, I'm not going to do for how many $1,000 you say?
$40,000.
Okay. I'm not going to, no.
What we're going to do is we're going to cut the belt in half. It's the left side of the belt only. You need the part with the buckle on the right side. Hey, serious business. You think we could sell Bug?
Don't you even think about that.
Listen, he's getting older. You think that dog's going to live forever? What are you doing? Feeding him solid gold? Hey, so seen any good TV lately?
I've been watching Titans on HBO Max, and it was recommended to me by a very inebriated Pondwater Dave.
Oh, God.
He said to me on that Friday night of Top Guy Weekend, right before Rebel and I started singing, "Hey, Tony, I want you to make sure you watch Titans. You're going to love it." I said, "Well, I watched some of the first season." He said, No, it gets better. I said, "Okay, I'll watch it." The very next day, on Saturday, when he was out apologizing to everybody about
Hey, Tony.
his inebriated state. "Hey, Tony, you need to watch Titans." And he went, I just put up my hand. I said, "Dave, you told me last night." Oh, well, I'm very sorry I was like this. That's okay. I'm going to watch it. So I'm watching that. I've also, because he's in his 90s and I love his movies, I purchased the entire Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry
Really?
set. Yeah, and I'm watching those in order. I'm up to the Enforcer now.
Have you watched the new movie he's got?
No, but it's on HBO Max and I want to see it.
Cry Macho.
Cry Macho, yeah.
What a name for a movie. That's a badass name for a movie.
That is a badass name. It amazes me that in his 90s he is still out there just bringing the movies out, right? Just bringing them out at age 90. So
listen to this description.
Okay.
A one-time rodeo star and washed-up horse breeder in 1978 takes a job from an ex-boss to bring the man's young son home and away from his alcoholic mum. Crossing rural Mexico on their way back to Texas, the unlikely pair faces an unexpectedly challenging journey, during which the world-weary horseman may have found his own sense of redemption through teaching the boy what it means to be a good man. Now, when it said world-weary horseman and he's trying to teach the boy what it is to be a good man, it feels like the story of Tully Blanchard. But instead, it's a Clint Eastwood movie that, by the way, has been described as Clint Eastwood's most charming movie in years.
Wow.
How about that?
I am so surprised that he got a pat on the back for his movies. Because Dirty Harry is a long way from Cry Macho. He just blows them away there. Boom. In Dirty Harry. And also downloaded the 3 spaghetti westerns that he did. Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which are classics. So that's what I've been watching. I watch a lot of movies. And I watch a lot of shows that I can binge. So there. What have you been watching?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. You don't watch any wrestling on TV?
I didn't watch any TV in the last 7 days. Not a bit.
Not a bit.
No, serious business. Megan and I saw, some horror movie that Punk talked about on Twitter. That she was like, "Hey, what about this?" And I said, "Actually, Punk said that was like the new barometer for whether or not you had good taste." And it was damn good. And then we watched Candyman.
Oh my God. You guys like horror movies?
No, but I mean, these, when it's a new, like, hit hot movie and, you know, you got Bruce Pritchard in your house convalescing, you'll just watch something, you know?
You had Bruce in your house?
Oh man, he did not feel good at all. And Tony, I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to today's show. You know, we've marched through a lot of 1986. I can't believe it, but we're almost in the last quarter of 1986, which means we're going to get closer to Starrcade and everything else. But unfortunately, the next big thing is going to be the NWA US Tag Team Championship Tournament finals and quarterfinals. And we're going to get some new US Tag Team champs. And I love the look of those belts, and I'm excited about that. But the concept doesn't get me as excited.
No, I never was thrilled about a secondary tag team belt. It's funny when years later, when K. Allen Fry, Kip Fry, ran the company, he was really into the U.S. belts, and we did a whole thing, if you'll recall, with the tournament, and he was very disappointed that it did not, quote unquote, get a better number for us than it did. And I remember him saying to me, "I'm really disappointed that our U.S. tournament is not drawing better numbers." I said, "Well, it's kind of a secondary belt to the world title." And he said, "Why didn't you tell me that before we started this whole thing?"
Well, I thought you knew, you dumb motherfucker.
Exactly.
You realize that the U.S. is smaller than the world, don't you? You dumb shit.
Jeez.
If you could run the world, you could run the U.S.
Yeah, you would think.
Come on.
So, yeah, it's a secondary belt. And at the same time, we are getting into the unification between the U.S. and national championship, Wahoo and Nikita Koloff. The U.S. title was the top regional belt or the top belt for the Crockett or the Mid-Atlantic territory. The national heavyweight championship was the equivalent for Georgia championship wrestling. So they were going to unify them both. And obviously the Crockett's were going to call it the U.S. title instead of the national title. So there. And that's why the national title has been retired. Unless, does the NWA still recognize it? Does anybody still have the national heavyweight championship? Somebody's got the belt, but is there a champion around on the independent circuit?
Yes, many champions.
Many national champions, but not the national champion from the Georgia era. Not the one that I'm sure Wildfire Tommy Rich had at one time. Or who else would have been the national champion? I'm sure there's a list somewhere of the old Georgia national.
There's a list right now, and his name is Chris Adonis. Now, you fucking goof. You probably know him as Chris Masters. But old Chris Adonis over in the NWA has been repping that national championship for the NWA proudly since July 8th. How about that?
That's tremendous. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for Chris Masters, Chris Adonis.
Great close personal friend of the show. He listens to the show, Tom.
Hey, Chris, thanks, man. I'm glad. I'm glad you listened to the show. You're a good guy, and congratulations on being in the family tree of Adrian Adonis as well.
Nope, they look totally different guy.
It doesn't matter if you look different. You can be in the family tree.
Hey, I wanted to mention you decided to take to Twitter this past week.
Yeah,
posted a picture from your kitchen.
Yeah.
With that Old South wallpaper in the background.
That Lois will never get rid of. She loves it.
Because you're Old South. I love it too.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm in a Cracker Barrel.
Or an Italian restaurant.
Well, you got all that shit on the wall and it feels very Cracker Barrel-ish.
Okay. Right.
And you wrote always capital A.
Mm-hmm.
Remember capital R.
Mm-hmm.
You roots as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Always remember you roots as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a picture of Gordon Soley holding the microphone in Georgia Championship Wrestling in front of Ole Anderson. And it looked like it was ironed onto a black t-shirt in your titty area. And I just think it's maybe your best look, the best photo. You got your hair like you like it. You got your beard colored like you like it. Doing a little mean mugging for the camera. Always remember you roots.
Yeah. You can't edit shit on Twitter. once you misspell it, it's out there.
You can delete it and repost it.
Yeah. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
I can tell.
Okay. That shirt, by the way, was gifted to me by Adam DeMoy, our buddy.
On purpose.
You don't like that shirt?
No. I just thought he hated you and you hated him.
Oh, no.
Now y'all are exchanging gifts.
No, he's a troll. I get it. I accept him for what he is.
I got no time for trolls on my Twitter.
Yeah. So
I fire back on those motherfuckers.
Yeah, I don't. I now and then I will get on Twitter. And here's exactly what I do. And this is exactly what I did. I made 2 posts on Twitter. The one about the shirt and the one about the interview I was getting ready to have between Britt and Ruby Soho. And I immediately deleted Twitter from my phone again.
That's a good call.
What I'll do is if I think of something to tweet, I will download Twitter from the cloud. We'll log on again.
What cloud do you pick?
It's iCloud.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I'll download that. I'll tweet, won't read any responses. Tweet. Delete.
Tweet and delete. It's like that routine.
So that's what I did. So, yeah.
Boy, you're not helping me very much. Can we talk about you being in New York soon? Because there's a rumor that Tony Schiavone is coming to New York in early October.
Yeah, I'm going to be there for the New York Comic Con in early October. I will be there. We have a I want to make sure I get the dates right because, you know, in my age, I can get dates wrong. But we will be in Philadelphia at the Licoris Center at Temple for a dynamite on the 6th. And then I'll be taking the train over to New York because on the 7th, 8th, on the 8th, 9th, and 10th at New York Comic Con, I'm going to be there with a table. And then on the 10th, I'm going to have, we'll be at the Source Point table. And I'll be signing autographs there. And then we've got a panel that afternoon where we're going to talk about Butts and Seats, the Tony Schiavone story, which, by the way, is available for pre-order right now.
Where can you get it?
buttsandseatscomic.com.
Okay. I feel strongly that saving money is important. You know, if it's not something we worry about now, boy, we are really going to worry about it later. And I want to help you get out of debt faster and do it with cheaper monthly payments. I'm talking to you if you're in a 30-year loan. Now is the time to take years off of your loan. We're routinely helping our listeners cut 5, 10, even 15 years off their loan. And you can do this without perfect credit with no money out of pocket. You've just got to start at savewithconrad.com.
And also pretty soon I believe in November, it's finally going to come out. It's going to be available. It's going to be distributed by Simon & Schuster to bookstores and comic shops everywhere. Great time. Exciting time. We've been working on this thing for quite a while. So yeah, I'll be there. I'll be in New York, of course, as this
See
drops.
what all the holdup is. I've had mine forever.
Your what?
A copy.
You've got a copy of the all 10 chapters?
I've had these forever.
Well, you're in line in front of me. I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah. Not only do I have it, mine's autographed.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not bragging or nothing.
Who autographed it?
You.
Look through it. There may be a piece of a belt in a leather belt, a half,
Tony,
the right half. Okay.
How do you fucking sleep with yourself? How do you go to sleep at night? Tony, I think from what I understand, we're going to do a watch along today, like always, of September 27th, 1986. Of course, on your Peacock machine, it's season 2, episode 38. That's season 2, episode 38 from September 27th, 1986. And the rumor and innuendo, Tony, is that you have a special countdown for us.
We got a good one today. And let me say that I've been working to get this countdown to us for many months because Steph Chesney is a rock and roller, and I get it. He's busy. He tours. He records. And he told me, so I'm going to give you a good one with music. He didn't. But he is eventually. And Steph, who I call, there was No Show Jones, George Jones.
I almost was that for the NWA.
Yeah. This is No Show Steph because he didn't show up for Low Key Big Hog, and he said he was, or Top Guy Weekend, he said he was. So anyway, I've cussed him enough, and here is our countdown from our buddy Steph Chesney.
Hey, this is Steph Chesney, low-key big hog and personal friend of Tony Schiavone's favorite musician, Don McRae. Finally getting my countdown done, and I'm surprised at this point that I've not been cussed at more than I have by Tony, so thank you, Mr. Schiavone. As we all know, as long as I can count, when we get to 1, I'll tell everyone to press play. So, we're about to test the British education system. Don't get your hopes too high. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Wahoo and Tully slugging it out, man.
I love that music.
It's the best, man.
Championship Wrestling, bringing you great wrestling action, sanctioned by the NWA, National Wrestling Alliance.
Welcome to World Championship Wrestling. Tony, we saw Chief Wahoo McDaniels tomorrow night in the Omni, the unification of the national title and the United States heavyweight title.
It's the big chop of Wahoo McDaniel and the Russian sickle of Nikita Koloff also tomorrow night at the Omni. It's the one-night tournament for the United States Tag Team Championship. A lot of great tag teams, but only one will become the U.S. Tag Team Championship.
Great tag teams.
I guess we did, didn't we?
We sure
Did I hear somebody say great tag teams?
There are a number of great tag teams in the world
You know what
today.
else we're going to have right here today on television? We're going to have a telethon. We're going to raise money, and we're going to call it Warrior Aid. And we are going to fund a search for the Road Warriors because they're lost. They can't be found. I have looked under sewer caps. I have looked in porcelain bowls. I have looked under rocks, all their normal places. And the Road Warriors are nowhere to be found because this team, these men right here, put them out. Two big fat slobs from Chicago, two women's purse snatchers. Right here are some real men. Right here are some men that are in shape. And you could have told them what was going to happen, Dennis.
Let me tell you something, Tony Italiano. Everybody knows the Midnight Express is the team to beat. Everybody knows they can't beat the Midnight Express because we are kickers, brothers. Every time somebody slams us, covers us, we kick out. Every time somebody suplexes us, covers us, we kick out because we're kickers, baby. We came into this world kicking, and we've been kicking ever since. And we're going to continue kicking until we kick the bucket. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand exactly.
Is that good enough for you?
Is that good enough for you, Tony Schiavone? Let me tell you what's good enough for the Road Warriors. A get well card. I'm going to send it right to Paul Ellering, and I'm going to say, please, if Animal's laying up in the hospital bed or if Animal's laying in the garage, wherever he might be, get his big carcass back in the ring, and we'll do it again if we can find him. And that United States Tag Team title tournament, those belts are as good as ours because it's the best team you've ever seen.
And don't trip me no more over here either,
Yeah,
fella.
you dummy.
I didn't mean to do that, and I am sorry. Fans, let's go to the ring.
Why are you trying to trip Dennis Condrey, fella?
You see me smile because we are kickers. We kick. They were so much fun to be with at the podium. They really, really were. And I'm thinking that, we've now heard Dennis speak for like 2 weeks in a row, right? I believe that's Dennis wanting to speak. I don't think that's Dusty saying, let Dennis speak.
Why do you think he wants to?
I just think he told Jim Cornette, let me talk some. I don't know. Dennis was like that. Dennis was pretty forceful in his thoughts. Did we ever talk about, has it been documented why Dennis Condrey left?
I don't think anyone's ever talked about it.
Okay. Do you know?
I don't think anyone's ever talked about it.
So you do know, you just don't want to talk about it.
I don't think anyone's ever talked about it.
Okay. My only thought about this is that he was upset with the promotion, upset with the payoffs, because Dennis was like that.
No,
I'm sure it's in Jim Cornette's book.
No, it's not.
It's not. Okay.
It's a personal thing.
Okay. Then we'll just let it stay right there.
No.
If that's okay with you.
I'm great with it. I'm also great with seeing Jimmy Garvin beat up this young man.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking right now.
This young man's thinking, whoa, knock a tooth out of my head. Tooth out of my head. Oh, God. Just like Jacques Rougeau and Dynamite Kid knocked teeth out of my head on the floor. Scoop. Oh, I think his finger was inside of my trunks. Just not sure. Sure it was an accident, but in the gut. I don't know if I'm supposed to fight back, but I'm going to fight back. How's that for you? Oh. How's that for selling? I can't wait to watch this tonight when it airs or next week when it airs, because that's some selling I was doing right there. Got his finger in my mouth. He had his finger in my mouth, referee, that time when he took me down. Is that fair? Is that fair? Ugh. Lady, your hair looks awfully nice. You've changed your hairstyle, haven't you? I know you're talking to me, but I think you've changed your hairstyle. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, God.
Sorry, Jimmy. I was just looking at your wife's hairstyle. That's all. Just looking at her right there. God damn. Oh, here we go. Brain buster. All right. Got to get up. Got to get up for it. Oh, yours is better than Captain Redneck's. Can tell you that right now. Thank God this is over.
Is on unification. Wahoo McDaniel the national title against Nikita Koloff and the U.S. title for one champion.
What I'm going to talk about is USA tag team match tomorrow night, right?
Right, at the Omni.
You know how come Uncle Ivan and Crusher are not here today?
No, how come?
Because they out-trained hard. I hear many great teams in this match, right?
Many great teams all over the world.
Yeah. And Uncle Ivan and Crusher are going to be right there. Now, shut your stinking mouth. Now, this USA title and this national title, this is McDaniel and Nikita Koloff. Only going to be one champion, this right? Tomorrow night, one champion.
But you said recently, let's settle the issue right here, right now on TV. And let's show everybody the videotape where Nikita Koloff came out and challenged Chief Wahoo McDaniel. This was just last week on World Championship Wrestling Sunday edition. Let's take a look once again. Nikita Koloff talking to Randy Anderson, the referee. Wahoo McDaniel was issued the challenge, the national champion. And in just a second, there he is in your screen. And Nikita Koloff hits him quickly with the shoulder blocks. You know, we talked about it many times. The classic match, the chop of Wahoo McDaniel and the Russian sickle of Nikita Koloff. And we're taking a look at just what the Russian can do right now. Nikita Koloff taking a quick advantage on Wahoo McDaniel. But when we talk about the two men, as you see Wahoo McDaniel come back with the chops, you got to talk about much more than a sickle or a chop. You got to talk about ability, strength, stamina. Now trying the sickle right there. Wahoo held the ropes and the gigantic chop. Wahoo McDaniel with that. And Nikita Koloff right here with me watching that videotape. The chop is a potent weapon.
McDaniel, big and tough man. And I like tough competition. I say all the time. But tomorrow night, you hear Nikita, and I tell all these thinking American, tomorrow night, going to be many champions on Russia. Going to be one champion USA, Nikita Koloff, Russian Nightmare, and Uncle Ivan and Crusher are going to be USA tag team champion.
Nikita Koloff claiming the Russians will walk away with all the U.S. gold tomorrow night. Fans, we're coming right back.
Hey, did I tell you that our friend of the show, Scott Hyatt, his company was recently held hostage by ransomware?
Mm.
And when he revealed that they had settled it, he told us that it was Ivan and Nikita who did it on orders from the Kremlin.
These people in the audience could use a little discipline. The news is out.
That man has held more belts than anybody I know throughout the world.
And you know something? I think my next venture might be Operation World Title Belts. And I can think of combinations like the Baron,
Rick Rude.
The Barbarian, Rick Rude. The Baron, Rick Rude. King Shaska, Rick Rude.
Brother, it's not just a dream.
This is Ricky and Tony. You know, and all the people know that with Paul Jones in my corner, it's been sieg, knock, sieg, knock, sieg, victory after victory after victory. And now we are ready and we are prepared for bigger and better things. Where are the champions? Where is Herr Ric Flair, the world champion? Where is Herr Dusty Rhodes, the world TV champion? Paul Jones has promised me a chance to be a world champion, maybe a world tag team champion, and that could happen very soon. And I tell you this, and I tell all the people, Sign the matches. I don't care who I have to go through. Whether it be Redneck's Murdoch, Wahoo's McDaniels, anyone but Dusty Rhodes, you and the TV World Championship, you are the one we have our sights on because you are the #1 contender for the World Championship, and we're going to take it step from step, and that is all the people need to know.
Paul Jones, Baron Bondareski. Fans, let's go to the ring.
That was fucking boring, Tony.
Yeah, but you know what? That was a great cautionary tale about stay away from cauliflower ears and watch how you cut your forehead.
Yes, it was.
My God. That's all I could see was the cauliflower ears sticking out on his left side and those two cuts, one that went across and kind of down. Man.
Awfully specific cuts, too.
Yes.
Jessica Watley jaw-jacking with the crowd and beating up a poor hapless soul.
Undercover hillbilly is what he would say.
Man, I love me some Shaska Watley.
Shaska, man, was a trainer at the power plant, as we've talked about, was a tough kid.
Our dude.
Yeah, great power lifter. And yeah, spit at that sucker. Spit at that Mulkey brother. And like all guys in that era, with the exception maybe the Road Warriors, he knew how to beat you up without really beating you up.
I was going to say the Road Warriors, nobody's smarting them up that it was a personal thing.
No, I don't think so either. Oh, God.
Can you imagine if the Road Warriors were in a real fight, how shocked they would be if somebody actually fought back? Wait a minute, this isn't how it normally goes.
Mm-hmm.
I just punch you in the head 30 times and you just hold still. He's stacking them like timber here.
I know.
Hey, we saw David Crockett standing next to you earlier.
Yeah.
I feel like now's as good a time of any to bring up the controversy from Top Guy Weekend. I don't know that you remember.
There's no controversy from Top Guy Weekend. What you're about to hear, everybody, is made up stuff from Conrad, but go ahead.
Nope, 100% factual. You were too drunk to remember. You were playing grab ass and drinking, and you don't recall that he called you on the carpet and said, you stole my salsa.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's true.
And we need to just go ahead and set the record straight here. You're a known salsa stealer. It's been well established.
No, that salsa was given to me by Ruthie, Jackie Crockett's wife.
True or false? It was intended for Dave. It was made and created and canned and prepared.
Yes.
For David Crockett, and somehow now it's at your home. True.
That's right. No, that's true. That's true. But I want to tell you the story.
Okay.
Can I tell you the entire story?
Fucking salsa thief.
Okay. So what? So it was given to me. I go to Jim Crockett's memorial service in Columbia, South Carolina.
How was it?
It was very touching. His daughter, Austin, got up and said a few words about him, and the family was there, and I got to see Francis and Jackie for the first time in a while. And Jackie's wife, as I'm leaving, Jackie's wife, Ruthie, who has regularly sent Lois and I her canned salsa and her canned jellies and jams. As I'm walking out, she sees me. She says, I've got something for you. And I said, really? She said, yes. And she went in the back of her car and came out with a bag with 2 big canned jars of her salsa, which is wonderful. And I said, this for me? And she said, yeah, it's for you. So I took them home, and Lois, oh, that's great. And then Lois said,
why'd you steal this from David?
No. She said, you didn't tell Ruthie or Jackie you were coming to the memorial service, did you? I said, no. She said, then how did she know to have salsa for you?
There you go.
And I said, that's a good question. I said, maybe it was for somebody else, and she gave it to me.
Fucking thief.
And then a couple of days later, I get a text from David that says, salsa thief.
Yep. You motherfucker.
No, man, it was given to me by her. I didn't say, hey, woman, you got any salsa in that car? And she said, yeah, it's for David. And I said, well, give it to me because I'm going to Georgia right now.
Well, let me just mention right now over at boxinggimmicks.com, you can pick up Schiavone Stole My Salsa shirts. Let's take a listen.
A lot of things to talk about with America's team. Dusty Rhodes, Magnum TA, gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. Magnum wanting to get back the U.S. heavyweight title, U.S. tag team tournament. And now Paul Jones's Army looking for this world TV title.
A whole lot of things going on, but sometimes you have to focus your attention at one thing, and that is tomorrow, that U.S. tag team tournament. Now, the Dream and I have geared ourselves to this one particular thing. Because people said all the time that we've never held any major tag team titles as America's team. Well, America's team tomorrow is going to that tournament wide open, taking each and every opponent dead serious, because in a tournament, you got to take one thing at a time to make your way to the top, and that's exactly what we intend to do.
You know, it's a very important time for professional wrestling. The national tag team titles for so many years meant so much to so many people because of his contract. And then Ole Anderson decided to take a trip, you understand, up in Wisconsin when Dusty Rhodes took him out of the ball game. Now these United States tag team titles, these new belts on the line tomorrow night in the Omni, Dusty Rhodes, Magnum TA, America's team now gonna come together for this thing because there's two things we want back. We want back his made U.S. heavyweight title back around his waist and the United States tag team title around Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA's waist. It's going to be an awesome tournament. People coming from far and wide, limousines be lined up, little jets be flying in. All barons coming all the way from Texas, all the way from Kenya, coming all in here. Captain Redneck, Dick Murdoch. This is the big one in the Omni. Come on, everybody got to get a seat, get there early because Dusty Rhodes intends on making this thing right for America's team, Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA. There is no other team but America's team. There used to be another America's team, but they're about 19 games out of first place.
Wow.
Fans, let's go to the ring.
About 19 games out of first place.
Yeah, 86 was not a good year for the Atlanta Braves. And man, how about that left-hand hook from Dusty to the Atlanta Braves and Ted Turner and WTBS. Hey, interesting, couple of things interesting there. Doing a little shooting right there. Ole Anderson took a trip to Wisconsin and it was taken out of the ball game. How about that? That is a little
real life inside dig.
Real life inside dig about I guess Vince McMahon buying Georgia Championship Wrestling. And from Ole Anderson, who was against it, that's probably been well documented. And so he just goes off and goes to Wisconsin, and now he comes back, and there's no longer a national heavyweight champion, buddy, or as of this weekend, it's not going to be. So let me ask you this. You probably, and I think we've talked about this, we're doing a lot of promoting for tomorrow night in the Omni.
Yeah.
But the gate ended up not being that good, right?
Woo. So let's run through it. The Omni used to seat what? How many? Do you recall?
10,000 maybe? 15,
oh, gotta be more than that.
Well, 15 then. Let's say 15.
Let me just look it up real fast.
Okay. Meanwhile, we got our buddy Hector Guerrero.
The Coliseum of the Omni.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, this had to hold more than that.
What does this say?
Trying to find. They did basketball. They did hockey. They did soccer. 15,278 for hockey. 16,378 for basketball. 3,000 fans are here to see the tag champs. 3,000.
3,000.
3,000.
That's not much more than what would go on ringside.
I think, as much as I love it, you know, let's pretend for a minute that what we're watching is on the up and up. What we're watching is a legitimate athletic event. There's no theater. There's no theatrics. There's no cooperation. I love the concept of a tournament. It makes it feel real. You know, like if this was amateur wrestling, that's the way it would work. There would be a real tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that concept.
Mm-hmm.
But God, did it ever work in wrestling?
Mm-mm.
Was it ever a draw? I mean, that's just.
No, one time.
I think, what was that?
Okay. I think I got the ticket stub, but I had the poster in 1978.
That was -3. Continue.
Okay. Greensboro Coliseum. They stripped the World Tag Team belts from Ric Flair and Greg Valentine.
Okay.
And had a one-night tournament at the Greensboro Coliseum for the World Tag Team belts, and it sold it out completely. Smack dab sold it out. Ricky Steamboat and Paul Jones won the tournament. The Briscoes were in the tournament. Baron Von Raschke and Mass Superstar were in the tournament. Ric Flair and Greg Valentine were not. Valentine came out at the beginning. I know all this. I remember all this. I don't know. Came out at the beginning and said because they were unfairly stripped of the title, that they would not participate in the tournament. And it was a one-night tournament, and it was really, really good. So that I remember. That sold out the Greensboro Coliseum. But here in the Omni, because it's the U.S. Tag Team belts, right, and not the World Tag Team belts, again, you just can't elevate those. So that's the one time. I'd like to find out. I'm sure there's somewhere on the internet that talks about that night. I never will forget. We brought
MidAtlanticGateway.com, if I had to guess.
Yeah, we brought about 10 guys down. We had 2 cars. One was a van. And we drove down from Virginia that night and saw that. Wow, great memories. But yeah, 3,000 fans, not much. Not only 3,000 fans, but 3,000 fans for that hard sell, right? I mean, you could say, oh, okay, I mean, you can give all the excuses you want. Back to school, people don't, oh, here we go.
The U.S. Tag Team. Hey, Manny, come here, Manny. Come here a minute, buddy.
All right,
Come
Paul
on down
Jones is
here.
calling the Ragin Bull down here out of the ring to our ringside location. All right.
You know, Manny, a lot of people don't know that I offered you a lot of money to join the Army because I know that you stood behind Jimmy Valiant, but I'm the man I am. I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. And Manny, I can't keep coming out here and offering you money. And I tell you, I will do great things for you. You have a lot of talent, and you are what the Army needs. And I can make it very, very rewarding for you with all that money I offered you before.
Let me tell you something, baby. The only common ground that's between me and you is the thing that's laying down right now. And the only thing that's coming or getting from me going through you is that you're talking business, and you're out here like a businessman. Well, I told you before, I am friends with a boogeyman, and that's with a capital F, Daddy. Blood, sweat, and tears, and not greenbacks could ever change that. So all the money in the world, you may have bought your army, but you don't buy this, baby. And this heart right here runs for bigger. And once me and Boogie come together, baby, we infiltrated your army. And you can't deal with that. So you want to put a price on me. Well, there ain't enough money in the world to ever buy this bull.
Okay, you know, this man has humiliated me for the 3rd time on television. And my patience is running thin. Bull, maybe I won't offer that money anymore. But I'll tell you one thing. The man cannot be that stupid.
Paul Jones and the Ragin' Bull. Fans, we're coming right back.
I'd be okay if I never had to see Paul Jones on this show ever.
Let me tell you one thing. That man cannot be that stupid. All right. Oh, Big Bill Tabb's going to get his shot at Nikita Koloff. So what are we talking about?
About how a friend of ours recently said, you know, my daughter's not as dumb as she looks.
No, we weren't talking about that.
When this person said that, everyone at the table looked at each other like, did they just say what I think they said? Because that is not the way they intended those words to come out of their mouth.
Wow.
My daughter's not as dumb as she looks.
I can only imagine who said that.
When you take a look at our referee here, Pee Wee Anderson, I don't know if you're thinking what I'm thinking, but I see a guy like that and I think he must be on septic.
He must be antiseptic.
On septic at his house in his home.
Oh, okay.
He's on he's on city sewer. He's on septic.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? I grew up on septic.
Yeah, it was a joke 4 minutes ago, but now that I've had to break it down and explain it, it's not as funny. It's fine. I'll try it on a higher IQ host.
Hey, you want to take a road trip?
Nope, I don't.
Okay.
Unless it's to get my goddamn 6-man tag belt. In which case, yes, I'll be there.
We'd have to have the cruiser, the bus that you took to Chicago, and take it all the way to San Diego.
You know, it's over there. It's over there by you. I rented it from Marietta.
Yeah. I can't take long trips anymore because the middle of my week is I'm a busy guy. I was in the airport in Chicago getting ready to go to Cincinnati, sitting there thinking, man, this is wait a minute.
All right. I don't know that we should track it, but
okay.
Do you want to do it or should we track it?
No, Tony, I'd like to say a few things. I ain't got many teeth in my head, as you can see. And the quarter horse hat I got on is kind of dirty. But then I should probably button up this top button. However, let me say this. Okay. You have acne on your face. That's right. You don't need acne on your face because you're a grown man now. Now, people will say, why are you wearing makeup? And I know why you wear makeup, because you got that acne. But let me tell you this right now. The acne on you, the makeup ain't covering that acne. No, it ain't. So you need to do something to get rid of that acne. See a guy over there on the left? He ain't got any acne on his face, and he's probably 10 years younger than you. So you need, is it because you're an Italian from Italy? Is that it? Because I understand that you Italians usually don't have acne on your face. Must be from your mother's side. Is that what it is? Well, am I supposed to talk about wrestling? All right. Well, I've done enough of wrestling in my life. I'm going to take another dip. You can see that the bottom tooth is gone because of all the dip I put in. Yeah. Thank you, Dick. And yes, I don't have any makeup on the day.
Hey, while we're in commercial here on What Happened When,
yeah,
heels yet on Stars?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate that discourse. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And what about it?
So I don't know what you thought about it.
Well, they were a sponsor of ours here, so I love them.
Oh, got it. Okay. Didn't know you were just a shill. It's all good. Hey, you're a baseball guy, or at least you used to be. Did you? About the 86 Mets.
What about the 86 Mets?
They did a 30 for 30, a 4-episode, 1 hour per episode, 4-hour total breakdown of the 86 Mets.
Wow. Doc Gooden, Keith Hernandez,
Daryl Strawberry,
Andy
Dykstra.
Yeah. Who was their third baseman that scored the that run that went Ray something?
Murphy.
Ray Knight.
Ray Knight.
Yeah, Ray Knight. Wow.
Great. Highly recommend.
Great documentary.
Yeah, man. Home run.
All right. Well, good. I'm sure they focused on the drug problems of Doc Gooden and Daryl Strawberry.
They talked about the arrests.
Of course.
They talked about the drug stuff with Hernandez prior to the 86 season.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of the rampant use of cocaine.
That's nice.
And their own plane ride from hell. I mean, it was quite a story. Supposedly they fucked a plane up so bad that the organization got a giant bill, and ownership took the bill to the manager and said, hey, the managers and coaches and players, they're paying for it. The manager's response is epic. I don't want to ruin it, but go out of your way. I'm not a huge baseball guy anymore and didn't know shit about the 86 Mets besides what I knew from trading baseball cards, but it was fantastic. What do you think let's do a little count here.
Nobody talk to my Willie, just like Paul Jones did. Come in here, Willie. Come here, blood. Look at here. Look at here. All right. You see, you can't mix water and blood. It don't work. It don't mix. You can't mix it, Jack, but you can mix blood and blood. And this is what this is. Blood, baby. I mean blood, daddy. Never has this man betrayed me. And I'll never betray you, Willie. Willie. Watch it out. You see, me and Willie went to the same school. Me and Willie went to the same school. Willie went to Penn State, and I went to the state pen. You understand where it's at, Jack? I mean, we blood, we together. So Paul Jones, take all that bread and put it where the sun don't shine.
Jimmy Valiant and the Ragin Bull fans, we're coming right back.
Okay, so there was no brothers or Jacks or dad?
No, there were 2 Jacks.
Oh, okay.
I counted them. So it's a 2 Jack interview.
Or Jack counter. Got it.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about that. Hulk Hogan's a real innovator. We always knew that, but he brought dude to wrestling.
Be quiet. I'm hunting warriors. Hey, Tony, wait a minute. Don't worry with me. I know you didn't recognize me, but let me tell you something. I'm hunting warriors because they're nowhere to be found. And I'm going to introduce the #1 hunters in professional wrestling today, the men who destroyed the myth. Loverboy Dennis and beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express.
It's not the same, but you know, of all the WWE knockoff, since they don't play the originals, that one's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Look at this long and lean hillbilly.
So why was he calling Manny Fernandez Willie? Any idea?
Hang on a second. No.
Okay. What if I started just calling you the wrong name all the time? Would that work?
It wouldn't bother me. Hey, so I think we're getting ready to turn Manny Fernandez heel.
Well, anytime somebody says you'll never turn on me because that's blood, you know,
it's going to happen.
It's like when they start saying, "Oh, you're my best friend."
Yeah.
You know what's happening.
Because Manny and Rick Rude had a run as the World Tag Team Champs. And I think that's what they're getting ready to do. Because Rick Rude has just arrived, right? We haven't seen that much of him, but he's just arrived. So what do you think of this show so far? It's got about 10 minutes left, 9 minutes left. It's trying to build, obviously the U.S. Tag Team belts. Jim Cornette doing his Elmer Fudd impersonation, which obviously makes fun of people with speech impediments, which we don't want to do. But so what do you think of the show so far?
It's okay. It's not the best it's not the best World Championship Wrestling we've seen.
No. But again, this is kind of what World Championship Wrestling was back then. This was for you to go to the arenas, which obviously they didn't go to. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember. I would fly to Atlanta from Charlotte to do these TV shows. But when I did the Omni, I would drive. Did the Omni ring announcing, I would drive. Many times. Unless there was a TV taping like that morning or something like that, then I would fly. And take that 11:15 Eastern Airlines flight back to Atlanta. Eastern, man, I miss that. I think they resurfaced, but I miss that airline. That was a very good airline.
So this show we're watching was actually taped ahead of time. I think we've sort of laid that out. This was
okay
on the 21st, but of course we know it's going to air on the 27th.
Okay.
As soon as you guys finished this taping on the 21st,
here we go.
You were, as Bobby Eaton comes over, you're going to be in the Asheville, North Carolina Civic Center.
Mm-hmm.
There's also an opportunity for Ric Flair to go down to Puerto Rico. That night, you guys are back in the Coliseum. On top, it's the Rock and Roll Express versus the Andersons. On the 22nd, you're in Greenville. Flair would be in Birmingham working for Continental. You would also do a shot in Saginaw, Michigan. First time I think JCP was there in a while. Another TV taping in Greenwood, South Carolina on the 23rd. Meanwhile, the other crew is running in Lansing, Michigan with the Rock and Rolls and the Midnights and a 2 out of 3 falls match on top. Also on the 23rd, running Cincinnati, Ohio at the Cincinnati Gardens. And then you're down to the Bessemer City High School on September 24th for the Booster Club with Wahoo and Tully on top. You would run the Stadium Arena in Grand Rapids on the 24th, the Township Auditorium in Columbia on the 25th, also Cincinnati Gardens again on the 25th, Norfolk, Virginia on the 26th. Central States is going to have a lot of your talent over here. I mean, it's mostly a JCP show.
Right.
At this point, you've brought all their talent to be part of your deal, and it's mostly the same guys that we're seeing here.
Sure.
The day of this show airing, the 27th, you're actually doing a television taping in Macon, Georgia, with guys like Ole and Arn and Tully. North Surrey High School would get a show in Mount Airy on the 27th.
Oh, Dick Bourne
and Sasha Watley. Yeah, shout out to Dick over at Mid-Atlantic Gateway. On the 28th, the day after this, you're taping in WTBS, and then you have the big Omni show with whopping 3,000 fans there to crown new United States Tag Team Champions.
Do you get the feeling here, because we know that this was the best year of Jim Crockett Promotions ever?
Sure.
And that's where I watch it. But do you get the feeling that, I don't know if it's Great American Bash and Rock and Roll Express Super Summer Sizzler Tour withdrawal that we're seeing right now? And obviously when you go to Starrcade, that's something big. But you get the feeling now that we are starting to slowly go downhill?
It doesn't feel as hot. You know, it did feel really hot after the Great American Bash, but this does feel like a bit of a lull.
Yes.
But I think it's going to get cranked up in time again for Starrcade. It's just fascinating to me that, and maybe that's part of the strategy. You know, historically, we've heard that summer is not good for the wrestling business because people have other stuff to go do or whatever.
Right.
So maybe that's the reason you run the bash then, to try to counteract that. Hey, if it's our historically slow time, let's put a bunch of focus on it and see if we can strengthen the weakest part of our year, which makes sense.
Right.
But here in, I guess we'd call it the fall, it does just feel like we're going through the motions. And maybe some of that is just because, as we said earlier, nobody really cares about this U.S. Tag Team tournament.
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, and Magnum's going to have his accident here pretty soon. And that's obviously a downer for us. So I don't know. I think probably just, you're right. I think you're right on all counts here. Because Starrcade is big, and it's going to be big with the Night of the Skywalkers coming up. Oh boy.
Gotta listen to this.
He is talking about when they jumped on the Road Warriors. We'll take a look at that videotape about what you did to the Road Warriors in just a second. I know everybody wants to take a look at that videotape.
His hand. Cornette back. The Midnight Express. Hulk goes right after. Double this. Look out, look out.
Cornette has come back with a tennis racket.
Look out. Right on the animal. Press referee out. Jensen Hulk outside. Cornette. Bobby goes up on the top rope again. He gets ready. In the back. Animal's laying there. Cornette stomping on him. See Hawk. And then, again with the racket. And Cornette quickly gets out of there.
Okay, there it was, coming in with the tennis racket after you were slapped down by Paul Ellering.
That's the greatest thing I've ever seen, and that's the worst mistake that you ever made, Paul Ellering, is putting your filthy hands on me, because all you did was leave yourself open to get your two big precious investments, those boys you made all that money off of. You left yourself open to get them made fools out of right in the middle of the ring by my boys, by the greatest team in professional wrestling. And you know what else you left yourself open for, Paul Ellering? You left yourself open if you can drag that big animal, that big ox's carcass back in the ring, or if you get that Hulk who's a coward, who's scared to death, who's shaking in his boots to get back in the ring and get him another partner, or maybe even get in there yourself, Paul Ellering, then what you let yourself open for is getting me right up in your face with the palm of my hand and smacking you silly, because I'm a pretty tough guy in my own right, and I know Dennis and Bobby would agree with that. And the only reason I don't get in the ring myself is because they're so good, it's no point to it. They're the greatest. I couldn't do anything that they couldn't do. But let me tell you something, Paul Ellering. What you've done is you destroyed your own myth. You destroyed your own legend. You should have stayed away from the Midnight Express. You shouldn't have messed with the Midnight Express. You should have never touched me, because what you did then was you blew the whole thing, baby. Now everybody knows the Road Warriors ain't unbeatable. Everybody knows the Road Warriors can be had, because these men had them and they put them down the first time ever. And now what they're going to do, like I said, Tony, is they're going to go back to Chicago, to those slummy streets with all the slime and the filth running in the gutters, and they're going to be just what they were before Precious Paul found them. They're going to be a couple of women's purse snatchers, stealing things from old ladies, knocking them over the head with blunt instruments and taking their Social Security checks, because that's the kind of cowards that they are. And Paul Ellering, you've had it, baby.
We'll see you next week right here on World Championship Wrestling.
Pretty pedestrian episode.
Yeah, I think I like the angle with the Road Warriors and the Midnight Express.
Oh, for sure.
I think looking back at that, Cornette did a great job of making that. He hit him in the back with a racket, but I think he did a good job of pulling it, so to speak. And
I liked seeing him come through doing the old Elmer Fudd. That was funny just for me.
yeah, that was funny. Because listen, if you don't enjoy the old Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd, Daffy Duck cartoon,
let my family save your family some cash. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need money out of your pocket, but we will save you money. It's not a matter if, it's a matter of how much. SaveWithConrad.com.
that was, duck season, rabbit season. That's one of the great cartoons of all time. So just saying for you guys. And those cartoons were from I think they're from the 40s or 50s. I'm not sure, even before I was born.
When we come back, though, we're going to have new U.S. tag team champions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that, man. Just having it behind us, and now we can start building. It feels like we'll start building towards Starrcade after this.
Yeah, and we'll see what the accident to Magnum did for our momentum.
Oh gosh, who could forget? That's going to happen that's going to happen in October. So
right, yeah, so it's coming up.
Few weeks, woof.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going to heat up here.
Yeah, some very, very heavy stuff going to happen. But and of course, Manny Fernandez getting ready to turn heel. We're going to unify. I think we're unifying the same night, aren't we? We're unifying the national U.S. belts with Wahoo and Nikita that same night in the Omni. I believe. Not sure. Can't remember everything, but try to. And this helps me out remembering things.
Well, we hope you remember next week to hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for all that we're doing here on What Happened When. We're having a good time trying to entertain you, trying to make you laugh. Don't forget, tonight, it's perhaps the biggest Dynamite in history. I don't think that's hyperbole. I think this is it, man. You're making your New York City debut. You've got the Arthur Ashe Stadium, which is going to be an unbelievable visual. I think there'll be an ass every 18 inches. And arguably the two best wrestlers in the world, Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson, are going to hook it up in the main event. And the whole lineup tonight, Tony, top to bottom, feels like a damn pay-per-view.
It's we're putting a lot into this. Dr. Britt Baker is going to defend her obviously her tag team belts or AEW women's belt. It's going to be a spectacular night, and I can't wait to be a part of it. Interesting to see exactly how, because I know Arthur Ashe Stadium, from what I hear, the ring area is kind of small, and it's one of those venues that kind of is very steep, goes
Which
straight
is
up.
going to be such a cool visual.
Yeah, it is. It is. Can't wait to be there. Can't wait to go be back in New York City. And again, I'll be back there for New York Comic Con as well. So great time, man. It's a great time to be a part of wrestling. I've said it so many times, but it is. It's just, I'm so fortunate to be sitting here talking to you.
But Tony, right now, it feels like we're about that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the ring is David Crockett. He's got a microphone and he's calling Tony Schiavone a salsa thief. And here comes Schiavone out. He's got 2 jars, but they are empty. What happened to the salsa? Well, it's very apparent that Dave Silva, who eats a lot, has eaten the salsa that no good son of a motherfucker. We're desperately out of time. We'll see you next week on What Happened When. We come to you Wednesdays on Cumulus, the Cumulus Podcast Network. But Mondays, and only on Mondays, we come to you on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.